Hey, this is Mad Movie Mark of the Mad Movie Mark Movie Review. Thank you for joining me as I review the 1927 silent drama, The Unknown. Hey, well, I'm not sure if that was excited laughter or nervous laughter, but either way, you are probably correct. If this is your first time joining me, I am reviewing all the movies on the 1001 Movies You Must See Before You Die list. The Unknown stars Lon Chaney as Alonzo. He was also the Phantom in The Phantom of the Opera. He is known for his exceptional makeup skills and his fantastic acting abilities. Joan Crawford as Nanan. Now, I had no idea Joan Crawford was in any silent films. She was about 20 years old at the time, and this is the tail end of the silent movie era, so maybe this was her only silent film, but I remember her from Mildred Pierce, Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, and Johnny Guitar. When I saw her in a silent film, I kind of had to do a double take because I was extremely surprised by it. It also stars Norman Carey as Malabar. Now, IMDb lists this movie as a horror mystery, which I'm not buying. Maybe a horror, but I'm not really sure what the mystery is here because I felt like it was pretty easy to figure out through most of the movie. So it's 45 minutes long, so it is very short, which I also enjoyed. I've seen a lot of 5-hour movies, and these 45-minute ones are a bit of fresh air. Lon Chaney plays a carnival knife thrower, but his only shtick is that he throws the knives with his feet, and he does everything with his feet because he's supposed to have no arms. Now, Joan Crawford's character, Nanan, that works out perfectly for her because she is someone who has been wronged by men throughout her entire life, and she has been so wronged by men touching her that she has a phobia and a fear and an absolute dread of men putting their arms around her. So she does not like men's arms, which Alonzo has a crush on her, so if he ever decided to try to pursue that, it would work out perfectly, right? Now, Malabar is the other man in Nanan's life. He is also part of the carnival. He's like the strong man, and unfortunately, he has arms, so he is having a hard time hitting on Nanan and basically getting anywhere with her. Though he is like the romantic type, he is the one that you really want her to be with, at least throughout the movie. He is the one that I wanted her to be with, and I was rooting for them as a couple to somehow make it happen. But realistically, Alonzo's the guy because he has no arms. Or does he? Now we find out about throughout the middle of the movie, he has a friend that he works with at the carnival who's like a little person, and this friend is the only person who knows his secret, that he actually does have arms and he hides them inside of a corset. So why does he do this? He does this because he says that the police are after him, though you never find out why the police are after him. But he figures if he can hide out in a carnival and not have any arms, then the police would be none the wiser and they wouldn't be looking for him because they're looking for someone who has appendages. Now, this becomes a problem because he's in love with this woman who is afraid of hands, afraid of men's arms, and if he was ever to strike up a relationship with her, she would one day find out that he in fact has been lying to her. And he kind of thinks that she's not going to care, that once they fall in love with each other, that she will forgive him for the lie that he told. But his friend says, no, that's not going to happen. She is going to be upset and she's not going to want to be with you. So he has this dilemma. How does he get with this girl and not lie to her? Well, of course, the only sane and rational explanation is for him to go to a doctor and have his arms amputated, right? That's the only way around it. So that's what he does. He goes to a doctor. Apparently he has some sort of information about this doctor that can get him in a lot of trouble in the medical field and make him lose his license. And the doctor kind of owes him one, I guess. So the doctor does the surgery for him and he amputates his arm. And while and you can kind of guess what's coming up next, right? Can anyone guess what's going to happen after Alonzo amputates his arms? So while he is kind of healing from the amputation, it takes like 7 days, or I think they said it takes a week, but it seems like in this movie they made it seem like it took forever, like he left one day and never came back and he's been gone for years or something. But while he's healing throughout this surgery, and he's away, and Malabar and Nanan are together alone, she ends up losing her fear of arms and hands and falls madly in love with Malabar. And before Alonso even comes back, they get engaged. And she says, man, I really want Alonso to be at the wedding and I really want to tell him about this engagement, but he's gone away. So, like, was it actually a week? I don't They got engaged and set a date, and she's talking about wanting him at the wedding, but she's not sure if he's going to be there. Like, this has happened in a week, and she also lost her fear of this. I don't know. Maybe I misunderstood, but it seems like the doctor said it would take a week for him to heal. So he comes back. Alonso comes back, and he's all happy and excited because now he has absolutely no reason to not hit on Nanon and like express his feelings for her and tell her how much he loves her. And once he's getting ready to do that, she's like, oh, I'm so happy to tell you and I'm so excited, I have news for you. And then she goes and grabs Malabar and she's like, we're engaged to be married, and we want you to be at the wedding and we want you to be in our lives because you're like our best friend, and I have friend zoned you and you should have known that before you amputated your arms type of thing. You should have read the room and known that we were friends and not romantically involved, because we never had any romantic actions with each other. We never did anything romantically. You just did this kind of on a whim because you thought that it would be a great idea, but we're getting married now, we're engaged. And then he like laughs maniacally, which is kind of the intro that I did for this. And then Malabar tells him this trick that he's going to do for the carnival, in which he ties himself to two horses who are on treadmills, and the two horses are on like each of his hands, and he's just standing there as the treadmills are getting faster and faster, and he's trying to hold the weight of the horses from pulling both ends. And Malabar is like, well, what happens if like the treadmill accidentally stops or it like speeds up or something? And then Malabar is all like, oh, my arms would be ripped off completely. So Alonso's like, yes, this is my end. I can get back at him for the dastardly thing he did of falling in love and being nice to a girl and pursuing her and destroying my dreams of marrying this woman and making myself look like a fool because I've amputated my arms. I can finally get revenge on him. So, and get the woman. So he decides he's going to operate, the operator of the machine, he's going to create a distraction so that he can operate it, and then at the very exact moment he can trip the lever so that it stops and it rips Malabar's arms completely off. But it backfires because Malabar is able to correct himself and it doesn't actually rip his arms off, but instead it sends one of the horses into the air, stomping feverishly at Nanon, like trying to, basically Nanon is going to be killed by this horse if something doesn't intervene or something doesn't help her. So Alonso like rushes up to the horse and jumps in front of it and ends up getting stomped himself and ends up getting murdered by this horse. And then Nanon and Malabar live a very happy life together as husband and wife, I'm assuming, in the future. And Alonso's tragic end has come to an end. So I didn't like. Honestly, I hated Alonso's character. I don't know if you're supposed to feel sad for him, but I honestly didn't, because first of all, he's a criminal and he's purposely lying to everyone that he doesn't have arms because he's trying to escape the law. So, also, there's a scene, this is a very important scene in the movie, well, maybe not, but there's a scene in the movie later where Nanon's father, who runs the carnival, figures out that Alonso has arms, so Alonso kills him. So that's like another reason to hate Alonso completely. And then when he amputated his arms, I kind of figured where this was going, and I was like, okay, now he's gonna get what he deserves, basically. At least he knows how to function in life without arms, because he can use his feet for everything, which is, great. He's not gonna be completely, he's not gonna die because he knows what he's doing, but this is kind of revenge for the person that he is, essentially, is what I thought. But when he does realize that he's done this all in vain, you can definitely see the horror and the shock and the pain in his eyes, and there is great acting here. He does a really fantastic job. Lon Chaney does a beautiful performance in this movie, because it's a person that I think you're absolutely supposed to hate and despise, and you absolutely do hate and despise this person. Despite the fact of what he's gone through, you still hate him. And I really didn't think I would be rooting for Malabar in this movie. I thought he was just gonna kind of be like a side character, but I was rooting for their relationship. I was rooting for them to get together and for Alonzo to not ruin it, because they seemed like such a happy and excited couple, and Malabar treated Nanan so well and was so patient with her and helped her through the hard times that she was having with her fear. And like, he was really the rock that she needed in her life, when Alonzo was just there to for himself and to destroy anything that got in his way. So I thought this was a happy ending. I thought it ended how it should. Alonzo's miserable life was brought to an end. He's no longer has to run from the police, and Nanan and Malabar are together when they should have been together the whole time. So I thought in the end, I thought the movie, even though it was a little ridiculous, the plot line does seem a little. I don't want to say like it could never happen, because I think this is based on a story, or it's based on true events, or like similar story or something. So I'm not saying that this could never happen, but it is one of like the more ridiculous movies that I've seen, which is fun. I mean, it was a fun movie. It's a fun movie. It doesn't sound like it's a fun movie, but it's not as heavy-handed as a lot of the other movies that I've watched from like the Soviet Union. It's not a Battleship Potemkin, that's for sure. So I thought it was good. I thought it was enjoyable. I give it an 8.5 out of 10. I hope you join me for my next review, which is probably the movie that my most hated movie I've ever watched in my life. I absolutely despise this movie that I'm reviewing next. It is called The Jazz Singer. Thank you. Have a great day.